Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Shit Moms Won't Say. My guest tonight is what the kids would call a literal meme queen. This bitch puts some funny stuff out there. I love it. I love it. I love it. While you may know her as Mad Mommies, I just know her as some bitch I went to middle school with. That's right. That's exactly where I know her from. Mom of two, Caitlin from Mad Mommies. Hello.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
My giant water bottle. I was like, it's just right here. I'll move it. There we go. Much better. Yeah, of course. I'm so happy to have you. Are you kidding? And I love that, and I'm going to call you out on it because I think it's super funny. So Caitlin and I are obviously the exact same age. We went to middle school together. And we just spent, what would you say, a good 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get your video to work on Zoom? Shit, come on.
I'm not even on a computer. It shouldn't have been that difficult. Yeah.
I literally, I had my phone in my hand. I was like, what are you seeing? What are you looking at right now? Just tell me what you're seeing. Just look at it. And she's like, I don't see anything. I was like, I don't think that's true. And then all of a sudden she popped up. She's like, I did it. And I was like, I feel old.
Yeah, I had a boomer moment. I'm very sorry.
I had a boomer moment. And we are not boomers. We are we are geriatric millennials. Have you heard of that?
Are we? I thought we were just above it.
No. What are you? You're 35. You're gonna be 36.
Yeah.
Next year. Me too. We are geriatric millennials, which every time it comes up, I'm like, say it to my face.
Yeah, I don't like that term very much.
No, I was like, oh, I'm a comfortable millennial. That's fine. And then it was like, nope, just kidding. You're a geriatric millennial. There's younger people that are millennials. So
yeah, I was like 25. I didn't know that. So
no. All right. So we're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff, but you are not immune to the big mom 3, which, by the way, nobody gets too excited that Caitlin and I went to middle school together because we both just logged on. We were like, did we have any classes together? Like, do we actually know each other? Right. Like, do we? Like, yeah. We saw each other on Instagram and I was like, I know her. And then like my burnout brain was like, why? And then I remembered like, oh yeah, right. I was just super high all of middle school, so I didn't remember you.
Well, nice.
We are who we are. Okay. Big Mom 3. First question to Big Mom 3. And you have 2 kids, 4 and 6. So I am very curious. Did you always want to be a mom?
I mean, it wasn't like a burning passion. I wasn't like imagining my picket fence sort of.
Okay.
But I kind of knew like deep down that I always wanted to be. But yeah, it wasn't, I can't wait,
You weren't like playing with dolls and thinking like this could be my kid. Wasn't that type of deal? Neither.
No.
Neither.
But yeah, but it was one of those things like I knew eventually I would want to be, but it wasn't like my end goal.
Okay, cool. But here we are. A momming Instagram account and 2 children. Yeah. Okay, second question of Big Mom 3. And you live on Long Island like I do, so I have heard some incredible ones, so I am looking forward to it. Okay. What is the shittiest or most backhanded piece of advice you've ever gotten from another mother or parent?
What's interesting is that I wasn't even gonna mention one from someone from Long Island. It was actually from my mother-in-law, and she's from Europe.
What a bit.
So that's, I don't know if that even counts.
Totally counts, yeah.
But it was my son was a newborn, and he needed to gain weight, and I needed to like wake him up and feed him. And I was nursing, and she was all like weird about nursing, and she was holding him and he was sleeping. And I was like, no, I need to wake him up. Can I have him? And she was like, you can't wake him up. You can never wake a sleeping baby or else he's going to hate you. Like, I swear to God, he was 3 weeks old. This is like, I'm still in this emotional, like newborn. I'm not sleeping. I have to wake up every 2 hours to feed this kid. And she's telling me my kid's going to hate me because I'm trying to like, yeah. So that was like the weirdest. I mean, yeah, the weirdest. I don't even know if you'd call that advice. Maybe I should have thought of a different one.
No, I think it's the good one because I feel like it goes along with like an old adage, right? Like that's such an old mindset of like, you never wake a sleeping baby.
Right.
Of course you wake a sleeping baby. They have to eat.
Exactly. If it's underweight and my doctor's telling me to, then yes. You love how I call them it too, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It. Yeah. But I feel like, isn't it, aren't they, these children, up until a certain age? And so my wife carried, so I'm basically just like the Neanderthal that was like, I'm here for the ride. Like, I was fucking useless until this kid could drink out of a bottle, because what am I gonna do? But we had to wake her every couple of hours. Like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So fuck your mother-in-law.
Say that again. No, but
fuck your mother-in-law.
I feel like more, obviously it was my first, it was my son. So I was more like, oh, the doctor said I had to do it. I should do it. With my daughter, I was kind of like, she's still sleeping. She's fine. second child sort of thing. But yeah, I would say that's the first one that came to mind. But yeah, people, I'm disappointed I didn't come up with a good Long Island zinger.
No, you know what it is? It's like, how can you? Because it's constant. It's like pervasive nastiness. How could you like come up with one? I feel like every time I walk out of my house, somebody's like, this bitch. And I'm like, yeah, I live here. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I live in your neighborhood. I'm sorry. I live here. This is who I am. You know?
Yeah.
Well, all right. We'll get to some Long Island and shit in a while. But third question of the Big Mom 3. What is a skill or superpower you had before becoming a mom that you think has really helped you as a mom?
Skill. I mean, obviously, a good sense of humor helps. But I've always had like I love being outside. I love nature. And I'm like, it's always been a big part of my life. I wouldn't really call it like a superpower, but like I always want to be outside, and the kids are like that now too. So we always have something to do, you know. We live
cool.
by a couple parks like on either side of our road. So they love going outside. They love being in the water. They love just being with nature. So I don't know if you would call that a skill.
Totally a skill, or like, yeah, I think that's like a superpower. Like, my tolerance for nature is so low, you know. So like, I think it's great. You know, every time my daughter wants to go outside, I'm like on my phone checking the weather app to be like, but don't you think it's 70 degrees and breezy and beautiful and we should be inside?
I'm like, raining, let's go.
I'm like half kidding. I actually really do love to be outside, but like, so this is like my asterisk. I love to be outside. Are you like a camper?
I mean, not like, we do it probably once a summer, but like just overnight, not anything crazy. We do places on Long Island. We don't go like climb a mountain and then camp. Okay. Now with the kids, like me and my husband used to do stuff like that beforehand, but
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. My wife has made me sleep in a tent twice. Her aunt has a house upstate, like a nice house. It's not wood, like it's not rural at all. And she was like, we'll sleep in the tents with all the cousins outside in the front lawn. And I was like, over my dead fucking body.
There's a house right there.
Absolutely not. So I did it two times. And then on the third time I had an asthma attack. And I was like, all right, Paul from the Wonder Years, we're done. I'm done. But I like a pool. I like the beach.
Hey, that counts.
That counts. We're both. So I think people are going to walk away from this being like, they're both very outdoorsy.
Probably, I would say so.
That's nice for both of us. So I want to chat about your page for a bit. And then I want to chat about my greatest fear in life. So let's go mad mommies to my greatest fear in life. So what I love about your page, and there's lots of things, because you're just a straight up funny bitch. Like the shit that you come up with, like your memes, because some of the parenting memes, and like, this is not a knock at anybody, so please, like, don't take it that way. Some of them are like, it's mommy wine time, like that kind of shit. Like yours are like, they're real. Like yours are, I don't know. I love them. And what I love is that, like, you just said to me, I'm not like an ambitious meme mom. Like I just like creating my memes and going about my day. Like
it's an outlet. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is.
But you have like a lot of followers. Like you got a lot of people looking at your shit.
I don't know how.
It's okay to be like, yes, I do. I think it's great.
Famous. No, I'm kidding. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you don't. I always feel like I do have a couple that are about like mommy wine time, but I don't know. I guess not as much as I thought.
Or you don't have that like wine o'clock vibe. You know, you're a little bit more like cutthroat. Like you're not afraid to like drop an F-bomb. Like it's good. Like
call my kids assholes, that sort of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Like you're always around to be like, my kid's a dick. I'm like, that good for her. Good for her.
Yeah.
When did you start it? Because again, like it's really grown. Like you have a nice follower count. Like how old is the account?
It's about, I think about 2.5 years or something, coming up on 3 years.
That's great.
I actually started with Laura, my best friend. We started just with like screenshots of each other's conversations.
That's really funny. I didn't know that I knew you guys started together because she had mentioned that, because surprise, we're working on a little secret project. It's not ready yet, but we're working on it. So Laura had mentioned it, which I was like, oh, I didn't realize, like, together. Oh, so just like mom screenshots back and forth. Yeah,
of like us either like funny experiences or like just relatable conversations or like, you know, the grievances of being a mom day to day. So that's how it started. And then one day I had like an idea about a meme, and I was like, I'm gonna start making memes. And then it just kind of snowballed.
Do you remember what was your first meme? Do you remember?
Oh God, it was so bad.
Mine too was awful. That's why I'm wondering what yours was. Mine was awful. And I look back and I'm like, oh God, you got so much better.
I archived mine because I was like, oh, it was like an old grainy picture. It was like one of those like side by side ones. It was like what it feels like when you're playing with your kids at the playground versus what it looks like. And then it was like people doing parkour as what it feels like. And then like an 80-year-old man doing the monkey bars is what it looks like.
That's funny.
I mean,
hey, listen, it's not your best. I've seen better like, from you at this point. You know, listen, my first meme was no picnic either. It was when they say like coffee will stunt your kid's growth, and it was a baby drinking coffee out of a bottle with a Starbucks label. Like that's not funny. And in my head, I was like, because I want her to stay little forever. Everybody's gonna understand that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now I get it.
But I had to explain it to you, so it's not funny.
You gave it a college try, right?
Well, and you know, now I've gotten my shit together, and so have you. But like, you know, all it takes is one idea, and then you're like, maybe I'll work on it, and then you become funny. But I'm happy to know you started off mediocre level of funny, and here we are, which is great. Yeah, some monkey bar shit. So, okay, here's what I want to talk to you about. Because like we said, we know each other vaguely from middle school, which I would identify as the single worst age a human being can ever be on the planet. It's an awful age that like 13 to 15 or like 12 to 14, whatever the fuck, however old you are in that range is awful. My greatest fear as a mother of a daughter is that she will become that age and go to middle school. That's the whole fear. Obviously, that's going to happen. So that's my greatest fear. So I want to know, we both live on Long Island, as I've mentioned on here before. For anybody who doesn't know, Long Island should be its own country.
It's real weird.
Like, so, you know, and maybe like, I think people are probably sick of hearing it from me. Like, how would you, somebody who doesn't know anything about Long Island, how would you describe it?
I don't know, because it is like, go town to town and it's completely different. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's the most segregated area in the entire country. Yeah. Like if you go town to town, like it's completely black and white, literally.
Yeah.
And so every town is pretty much its own like little culture, you know? And sometimes it mixes and sometimes it doesn't. And but where we grew up, it was predominantly white, and the people were not very nice, in my humble opinion.
Well, and like what's bizarre is where we grew up. So, and I was asked this today. So get this. So I was on a conference call for work, and somebody was from Long Island, He lives in Texas now. And he said, where on Long Island are you from? I said, oh, I'm from Merrick. He asked me north or south. And I was like, what? I was like, I haven't heard that like literally since middle school, right? Like north or south. And I was like, why do you ask? And he goes, well, because south is, nicer. And I said, that's, first of all, that's not true. But like, what? Right. And he's like, well, where are you from? I was like, south. He's like, oh, good.
Oh, good.
This guy's living in Texas. He's still thinking like that. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's fucking nuts.
Like, why would your mind even go there?
Well, I said to him, I was like, oh, you're like a true Long Islander if you know to ask like north or south. I was like, I haven't been asked that question in probably literally 20 years.
Yeah.
North or south. I was like, you motherfucker. But so that's why, right? So like your kids are 4 and 6, so they're not there yet. And my precious little angel from above, who is going to be 2 in October, is not anywhere near there yet. Not even close. But like living in this very odd area, how are you starting now? How are you making sure that your 4 and 6-year-old are not going to grow up? Because you live in a weird area now too. King's, well, I'm not going to say where you live. King's something is very, it's odd. It's odd. It's very cliquey.
Yes, it's cliquey, like in a different sort of way than where.
Yeah.
Like
it's like a cult.
Kind of. It's kind of like, are you with us or against us? Sort of like place. I swear. Like, and like, I love this area. Like, I love all the nature, and I love
beautiful.
And I would say maybe 50% of the people are like that, and the other 50% are awesome and like open and like open-minded and stuff. So it's kind of been a bit of an interesting adjustment, but I try to instill the, be kind to everyone, like welcome everyone, include everyone, especially with my son, because my daughter's still in pre-K and my son's going into first grade, and I'm just like instilling kindness as much as I possibly can.
So his first year in school was like a weird COVID year.
Mm-hmm. Oof. Which was kind of like okay, because he didn't know any better. You know what I mean? Like he went from pre-K, where he's only going 3 times a week, and it was kind of just like playing, to school. He had to wear a mask, and it was like 6 feet apart and stuff like that. But it wasn't like he went kindergarten, where it was like he could play with his friends, to first grade, where he wasn't allowed to touch anyone, or like, you know what I mean? So it was kind of,
he didn't know.
So it was a little bit of a blessing in that aspect, but it was still sad. But so he's going into first, and he's a good kid. He's really open.
That's cool. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there are so many good kids and good people like where we live, and you just kind of have to find them. Mm-hmm. So like and I talk about where I live all the time. Somebody's going to end up showing up at my house, and I'm going to be like, that's your own fault, idiot. But I have a viral video that's been viral for like months of my neighbor's house across the street from me. Like, why? And they have no idea. But like, so
is this the lighthouse one?
That's the one. Right. So like, I'm not great at being like, you don't know where I live. I live in Wantagh. And Wantagh is like this real mixed bag, right? Like it's totally odd. It's very different from where we grew up. Again, though, it's that like north and south. So like South Wantagh is like rich. It's rich and it's on the water. I live in North Wantagh, which like
the tracks.
I'm on the other side of tracks, which growing up in South Merrick is very odd for me, coming from, the abundant wealth that I was told I came from today from some asshole sitting in Texas. But like, I'm noticing in our own little neighborhood, like I'm seeing how like we have to be careful how we talk to other parents. Like, are you finding that like now that your son's in school and you're interacting with like other parents more, are you like kind of light touch approaching, like having conversations with them?
Yeah, it's very
weird.
Like, kind of like wait for them, and then I'm like, you know what I mean?
Super weird. It's so weird.
We're kind of new to that. I mean, we've been here like 4 years, so I guess we're not that new. But like now that we're like meeting parents and stuff like that, we found our people for the most part.
That's good.
We've made some good friends.
So that's another fear I have, that I'm going to have to make friends with my kids' friends' parents. I'm going to have to do that, right? That's like a thing.
Yeah.
But
also, like, friends with the parents first and then like force your kids to be friends.
Well, that's what we have going on right now. You know, my daughter's best friend is like one of my best friend's sons.
Yeah.
You know, her other best friend is one of my other best friend's sons. You know, so like, but they're not going to go to school together.
Right.
I think the whole school thing.
You know, the past, like, COVID made me so introverted and so like just like jumpy and like not like anyone. But like, no,
I started off that way. So like, at least you have something to blame. That's just who I am.
I was kind of like baseline that, but kind of leaned into it this past year, and I'm like kind of slowly coming out. But he started to organize sports, and we started becoming friends with like those parents and stuff, and it's been good. We found people that like we enjoy hanging out with.
Do you like socialize with them without kids though?
Not yet.
Okay. No, my wife and I talk about this all the time. I'm so curious about like what the next 10 to 12 years looks like. Right. We've never done this. Like nobody has until they do it. Like we were at the park, like our area is cute. It's like this big suburban circle and there's two little parks, and we were at the park and this guy was really nice. His daughter and my daughter will go to school together. Super cute. And we were just kind of chatting and he was like, it's, you know, the area has become like a little odd. And I was like, odd how? Like trying to figure it out. And then like, I think they're probably Indian. And he was, you know, I was just kind of poking at like, hey, you're a diversity play like us too. Like I was like, well, you know, being like the only gay couple in the area. Like response. Right. What do you think about that? Cool. And like ultimately we found out like we are on the same side of history, which was very nice. But to get to that point, I was like, oh my God, what if this guy like fucking hates me?
Right. I mean, honestly, I don't envy that kind of like fear, you know, because
but it's Long Island in general. It's not a gay, straight anything. It's none of that though, right? It's just like parents in general. Like, what if you end up at a dinner party? Because you know, go to a lot of dinner parties. What if you end up at like sitting in someone's backyard, you know, and like somebody's totally not who you thought they were, and now your kids are like really good friends.
Yeah. That's kind of what I am worried about that, because you can't really control, especially as they get older, like who they're going to be, who they're going to connect with, and who they're going to click with. You can only do it at this age, you know, when they're young. But yeah, I actually, me and my husband have had conversations about this too. Like we gotta just not be careful, but just, you know, conscious of that and like keep instilling our values.
Yeah. But that was a nice answer. The like kindness and all that. Good for you.
Okay. But I've had my son come home where I was like, what was it? Oh, my someone was like, boys can't wear nail polish or something like that. And he was like, yes, they can, like got in their face. Yeah.
Good. So you're raising a
yeah, one of his really good friends has two moms. And someone said, a girl can't marry a girl. And he, yes, they can, you know, because of course they can. What do you know?
I love it.
Little 4-year-old. Yeah.
Well, listen, let's start to wrap it up. You nailed it. This was fun, right? Casual, easy, no big deal. Like I said, there's a little secret project we're working on, so you'll be back around. So I have 2 final questions, and then we'll go our merry. So first of the last 2, with your kids being 4 and 6, what is something at their current ages that you cannot live without?
I don't know.
All right. It's been great having you. Have a great night.
Can I say alcohol? No.
Yes. Do you know how many people have had that answer and been like, it's Tito's?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
No, I mean, yeah, that definitely helps, but I don't know.
All right. You don't have to know. There's not answers to everything. I don't expect you to be like an infinitely wise human being. It's just a question.
Well, I'm glad, because I'm not. Yeah, no, I don't know. I guess downtime.
That's fair.
Oh,
No,
God.
that's a totally good answer. Downtime. Okay, perfect. All right, last question. This one's like a little bit harder, so I don't know. What is something you know now that you wish you knew before becoming a mom?
Honestly, I wish I took like the strain on my marriage a little more seriously beforehand, because I was like, yeah, of course it's gonna be hard. But then like when we were in the thick of it, I was like, this sucks, you know?
Yeah, this can suck, sure.
It turned like everything became like tit for tat and like things like that, just because no one has a break ever. So,
Yeah.
oh, you took 10 minutes, now I'm going to take 10 minutes, you know, like, and it was never just like working together, and like it turned into like teams, which I feel like you against me sort of team, like, but I think that's kind of a normal side effect, especially when they're toddlers and like just getting out of, they just need you so much that it's, and he's working and I'm home. So it's kind of like, he'll never understand what I'm going through. I'll never understand what he's going through. So it's just like, there's a big disconnect for a long time, and we're still in the thick of it, but
it's hard. No, you're actually the only person that's ever brought that up. And it's so true. It's so hard. And like my wife is a doula, but like she makes her own schedule. Like she's home for the most part, you know, like I work, and like we live very different lives. Like we try, and I think it's easier when you're like married to a woman, because I think there's just like that, like we all take care of each other type of thing. Like it's just different. And I'm sure somebody's going to be like, don't say that. Like, you don't know. I'm telling you, it's easier to be married to a woman, like minus the, you know, periods every other day. It's easier to be married to a woman. Like,
I believe you.
yeah, you know, like and I've been working from home, but like I'll be done with my work day and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired from work. And she's like, I'm so tired from being with the baby all day. And there's just no break.
Right.
No break.
Exactly.
So I think that's awesome that you said that, because most people like won't admit that. And that's a very true thing that happens. You can't help it. You can't.
Yeah, that kind of blindsided me. There's like, you go into it thinking everything's going to be fine.
Well, and you have like your routine down, right? Like we're two ships passing sometimes, but we still have the best time together. Oh, we go here, we do this, we do this, we do this. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, we can't leave the house together without putting some serious thought into it.
Right.
Which is like, we have something coming up in 2 weeks, and we have a couple of things. We've had to think about babysitters for 3 separate nights that we're like, what the fuck do we do? Right. You know, like it's hard. People don't realize, like, it's really hard. Like someone will say like, hey, why don't you guys come over? Well, I'm not going to get a babysitter to come sit in your house.
Right. Exactly.
Unless I really like you, but you know.
Or just bring baby.
Right. She's either invited, I really like you, or we're not coming. Like, but like that's something we never, and like you guys never had to think about prior to having kids. And I think, and I hate when people are like, you'll get it when you're a parent. That is something that you will you truly cannot really understand that until you have little people that require your time 100% of it.
It is, you can't prepare. Like you just can't.
Right. And then like you could just be like, oh, I think I know this. And then like it'll be over before you even know it. So there's always that like guilt too. I don't know if you feel it. There's always that guilt of like, well, I should enjoy, you know, enjoy every moment. Like I could kill myself thinking about that. But like, you know, I should try to be like, oh, she's so little, let me spend as much time with her as possible. You're still like an adult human, you know?
Right. It's physically impossible to enjoy every moment. It just is, especially with young children. Like you enjoy it, you love your kids, and you take the best of the best, but like it sucks sometimes. It just does.
Yeah, no way around. Sometimes you just want to sit on the couch and watch TV, and you can't.
And you can't.
You can't. Well, listen, my middle school buddy, it was really fun catching up with you. Thank you so much for being here. Anytime. Yeah. Where can people find you? Where should they follow?
What's that?
Where should they follow?
Oh, it's at Mad Mommies on Instagram.
And we'll tag it obviously too, but make sure you're following Mad Mommies. Caitlin is super, super funny.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Of course. And everybody, thank you for tuning in every week, week after week after week. We love you. Have a great night.